Good afternoon. Welcome to Lake of the Pines Living Facebook. And I am CJ Jenkins from Century 21 Cornerstone, right here at Lake of the Pines. We are halfway between Auburn and Grass Valley. Even though our address is Auburn, we're right in between the two towns of Auburn, which is about a 12-minute drive from Lake of the Pines, or to downtown Grass Valley, which is about a 15-minute drive to Grass Valley. And then north of Grass Valley, 5 minutes north, is Nevada City. So here we are, and our video today is a different video than something we've ever done before. We're going to use this home here on Torrey Pines at Lake of the Pines as a sample. This is going to be our example or sample home, and we're going to discuss what you should be doing to prepare your home for sale. So I have a system, it's called Putting the Shine On, and that system or list is a list of items that really make your home shine. Let's talk about being a homeowner and preparing your home for sale. It's going to cost you some money to prepare your home for sale. Let's say you spent $5,000 to get your house sparkling. And I guarantee that that $5,000 is going to give you 3 times that in value for today's market. The house visually has to be very appealing. And if we have areas of the house that are not appealing, that creates an obstacle for the buyer. So one of the first things is that you're going to want to tidy up your landscaping. There's been weed whacking here on this home, and power wash your driveway, and also power wash the house. We have a lot of spiders here because we have lots of trees, and in 2 weeks' time, you can have cobwebs on your house at Lake of the Pines. So it's always nice to get that done to prepare your home for sale. So let's go down the driveway. This property has a natural creek bed, and when it is raining, there is a culvert here. And when it is raining, there is actually a creek here, which is nice. We have a lot of oak trees on this property, and actually we should be called Lake of the Oaks, not Lake of the Pines. Because of our elevation, we have more oak trees here than pine trees. You'll find the pine trees in Grass Valley where the elevation goes up about 500 feet higher elevation than where we are at the lake. Our elevation is 1,200, and that keeps us below the snow and above the fog. So that it really is a desirable feature for many people. You can see we have a workman preparing the home for sale. His name is James, and what James is doing is he's actually putting in some new tile floors, removing the linoleum or vinyl flooring, and putting in some tile to make it update those features in the 2 bathrooms and a laundry room. There's his tools, very tidy. The homeowner here has just recently, in this sample home, painted the exterior. The home used to be tan, and the trim was tan. So it's really nice to have this espresso trim, and they've put on some new lights. You can really get a lot of bang for the buck when you have new lighting put in the front of your home. Now for me, when I have a vacant home, these are some of the things in my kit. I usually have a basket, and because of the pandemic, we have our face masks here, and they're always by the front door. So if people are coming in, whether they're workmen or they're visitors, then you have your face masks. I always bring a little small garbage can because there might be waste in the house, and there may be no garbage cans in the home. And then I also bring a roll of paper towels. Ta-da! Oops. And of course, the most important thing, toilet paper. So we have 2 rolls here for, actually there are 3 toilets in this house, but we've got 2 of them set up. We'll leave that right out here for now. Hey Karen, welcome. When you get a home ready for the market, one of the things when it's vacant is to define how to use a space. And that is where staging comes in. You can hire a professional stager. I have a favorite one of mine that is very useful in defining how to use the space. And her name is Heather from Heather's Houses. And the other thing is that if you're not going to go with a professional stager, one of the things to do is to consider for the homeowner to leave some items in the home. I will be bringing some black wrought iron chairs, 2 chairs and a small table, which gives an idea to the person who's walking to the front door. I can sit out here on my front porch and enjoy the trees and the front yard. The kids could be playing in the driveway and I could keep an eye on them. Now, a must is always the painting of the front door or the staining of the front door. This door has been renovated because this is the first view that people have when they get to the property is the front door. So what has happened in this room in particular is the baseboards have all been touched up. Now in regular living, we get scratches on our baseboards and also on our window ledges. These ledges have been touched up and painted. Sometimes they're sanded down and then primed and painted. This house, for example, has new windows. So because it's an older home with new windows, if these ledges here were roughed up from regular wear, it just wouldn't balance out the windows and highlight the windows the best that it could. And also touch-up painting has occurred in this room. Cleaning of the fireplace is a good thing to do. There's actually a cleaner at Home Depot that's good for black cast iron fireplaces. This is an updated kitchen, which is very nice. So having your granite polish is handy to have. I have some little tubs of the granite wipes that I carry in my car. And these cabinets have been polished and really, treated, whether it's a cleaning item or an oil that you put on the wood. They look very, very sharp. Now, it's amazing how many people, when they actually do look at a home, actually open up the stove. So clean the stove, put it on self-clean, have the top of the stove as clean as possible, possibly cleaner than when you use it regularly when you're living there. But that's something that someone will look at. And that is a beautifully clean stove. Bravo. So one of the things you can do in the kitchen is you can bring in some colored dish towels, a couple of maybe colored vases to add some color, and keep with one theme. If there was royal blue in here, you'd have a blue towel, a blue glass piece of a vase, maybe a blue canister, and just 3 or 4 pieces of color in the kitchen really goes a long way. I have 3 big vegetables that I love that I put in the contemporary homes. Now, it has to fit. If there was tile in here, maybe that wouldn't work. So you have to look at the style of the kitchen and see what would work best. So we've got the front of the house power washed. We've got the driveway power washed. We've got actually the windows clean. Our window washer didn't get to finish the other day. There was an emergency. So the windows are going to be finished. And having your windows cleaned professionally are worth every penny. Maybe it's $150 to $200 for window cleaning, and it's worth every penny. So if you're going to get your home ready for sale, you want to book your window cleaner ahead of time because they are very busy. The best thing that you can do for a home is to make the house light and bright, and clean windows add to that also. Now your refrigerator is just like the stove. It's got to be clean, and people are going to open up the fridge because this refrigerator goes with the home. So they're going to check and see how clean this fridge is, and this is a very clean specimen indeed. You want to make sure that there's nothing left in your cupboards. And by not having any food in here in a vacant home or anything left, let's say I found macaroni and cheese boxes in here and juice boxes in here, the little kind, then I would think, oh, the person who lives here has a little child. We want the home to be neutral. We don't want it to depict any age that would be living in this home. So that those food items might say there's a toddler that lived here. And maybe just because I know there was a toddler here, as a consumer, I might look for fingerprints down low on the walls. You know, things like that. You want the house to be absolutely neutral in that way. Now, if your sliders are not sliding well, then you need to take care of that, because this is a door that's going to be opened by someone looking at your house. And that goes with your screens also. You can get your screens re-screened at a window store. I use Grass Valley Glass, and they've done many screens for me, and that really helps. So you want to make it easy for people to go in and out of the home as if they were living here themselves and walking out to the deck. So one of the things about this particular home is they have weed whacked on the hillside there. That's just natural hillside. The trees are against the fence. And this is one of those properties that actually does have a fence because it's in the outside rim of Lake of the Pines. The road on the other side is Comby Road. Comby Road leads to Forest Lake Christian, the Lake of the Pines Ranchos, and Dark Horse Golf Course. It's not a very busy road. And so you can have some fencing up there and put some vegetation there and have a little more privacy that way. Now, one of the things that is very helpful is to have a pest and a home inspection before you go on the market. Then you don't have any surprises. What if you put your house on the market, you got an offer, and the pest inspection, which is usually dry rot more than termites here, comes out at $50,000. And you say, wait a minute here, I accepted this offer for this amount, and then there's $50,000 worth of work on my deck? So that could actually make an escrow fall apart right there. So if you know that what condition your deck is before you go on the market, you can adjust for that. You can either repair it before, you can give an allowance for the new buyer because maybe they don't want a wood deck. Maybe they'd like to have Trex decking. So that would be something that you would be aware of. And then it takes the issue about the deck away from the buyer and the seller. It's actually the seller knows about it, and it is what it is. Now the home inspection is good to have too. A pest inspection, depending upon the size of your house, is about $165 to $200. And then your home inspection is about $450, depending again on the size of the house. The home inspector shows up at 9 and leaves around 12:30. They turn everything on in the house. They test the oven. They check every electric plug. They mention if a window or a screen door can't be open. They look at the house above in the attic and in the house that's the interior, and then below. So let's say you have a leaking faucet, and there's no way you would know that because you don't climb underneath your house. And that could be addressed before you go on the market. And that would make, even though the home inspection says there was a leak in the faucet, if you fix that before you go on the market, it is very helpful to show that you're a responsible seller and also that you want to make sure there isn't any moisture underneath your home.
Ed Tozer is watching.
Hey Ed, how are you doing? Thanks for joining us. Okay, so of course you're going to have your floors as clean as possible, and this is something that is very helpful. Let's see if I've got this now. Is when you go to prepare your house for sale, I don't think I have the right button here. When you go and prepare your house for sale, you want to make sure that you have the brightest light bulbs that you can buy, because light and bright sells a home. Let's see if I've got the wand here. Nope. Let me try it again. Well, I don't think I have the right buttons. Maybe there's a power switch here. Aha, I do. There we go. So we'll turn the lights on here. And so this is very helpful to have the highest wattage bulbs that you can have in your home when you're showing it for sale. Okay, we're going to go up the stairs. We have some work going on in the bathroom, and we'll look at the first two bedrooms on the left. And I know James is going out for his lunch in just a minute. So this room has had the carpet cleaned, the baseboards have been touched up, the closet doors have been touched up, the door trim has been touched up with the same color paint, closets have been repainted, and the walls have been repainted. So this is a squeaky clean room, and that's what you want. You want a space for the new person to move into your home and see that they can very easily move in. And that's an overstated statement, move-in ready, but that's really what it means, is that it's move-in ready. And we also have our smoke detectors. Smoke detectors are in different places. If you put a smoke detector up 10 years ago, it's different today. Every bedroom needs a smoke detector. Every level needs a smoke detector, and every level should have a CO2 monitor on that level. So this is a good spot, we suggest, right over the doorway so it doesn't stick in the ceiling and you don't notice it that much right there. Ooh! I pulled on it too hard. And we have another room ready to go. Got a little jiggle in our fan here, and this would be something to always check before you go on the market to get that fan stabilized. Now, someone might ask about curtains. Usually it's best to sell a home without draperies. And I have a friend, my friend Heather, who's a stager, and she says draperies are for living, draperies are not for staging and selling. Draperies give a lot of personality to a home. So if we had old-fashioned pink valance up there and pink and white floral draperies here, that would make this house feel older, even though they're new windows. So we get rid of the draperies. And this bathroom's been updated. Now, when a person has a home with a shower curtain, that's always a big question. Should we leave the shower curtain here or not? And I usually like to leave the shower curtain in bathrooms because it adds a texture. It's soft, it's a fabric, and all this tile is a hard surface. So adding towels to your bathroom is an easy thing to do. A small orchid, maybe a colorful box of Kleenex, even a pretty soap container. Those are all little touches that make the bathroom even more inviting in that way. So that we've got a cool shower in here. Kind of rustic, kind of makes me feel like Empire Mines. This house has new doors, which is a nice feature, and touching up the doors with paint is very helpful. Now, one of the no-nos that I always comment about is if any of the doors in your house squeak, get out your WD-40. We live in older homes. A squeaky door infers that it's older. So do not let any of your doors squeak at all in your home, and make sure that you service them before. Okay, we're just going to peek in here real quick, and we're not actually going to bother James. This is the master in this house. They did leave the curtains. These curtains are very contemporary, and they're extremely functional with a slider, so I would leave these curtains here. We also have a contemporary fan, which is very nice. And we're just going to, Leanne, if you can just come and see that we have a work zone going on. We have the tarps down. This is the bathroom that's getting tile on the floor. And what is cool about this particular house is we have 1, 2, 3 closets. And that's a challenge at Lake of the Pines because many of our homes don't have walk-in closets. So it's good to always highlight that there is more than one. Look at that pretty view. So if you had your bed over here, you would look at these trees when you woke up if your curtains were open in the morning. Very nice. Okay, we're gonna hop downstairs. Now, one of the pluses about staging a room like this room is a stager would come in and bring in a table, which is the right size for this space. And one of the questions that buyers ask when they look at homes, especially when they're vacant, where do I put my TV, honey? And a stager will come in with one of those fake flat screen TVs. I've always wanted one myself because I thought it'd be fun to own one for staging. And they will define the space of where you have your regular habits, which we all watch the telly. And so they'll help with that. So downstairs has the laundry space and a small half bathroom. And this flooring here is going to be changed out before this person puts this home on the market. We have a private exit or entrance. That's always nice to highlight to people because if they had a teenager living down here, well, I don't know if you'd want the door opened or not with a teenager. You might have to put padlocks on it. Make sure they don't sneak out at night. But anyway, it's nice to have a private entrance, and this would be something to highlight. Also, let's say somebody does a tax service and they want an office, or they want to be an accountant down here. This could be their office space, and then people could walk around the house and come in that way. So, so that's one of the possibilities too. Now, one of the tricks for getting your house ready for sale is the famous tan bark. We have the medium brown tan bark, and we have the very dark tan bark, and then we have that gorilla kind of tan bark. So look at the color of your house and find out which one would work best around your entranceway to your front door, but put out some fresh tan bark and give it just a little lift. The tan bark, the painting of the front door, the power washing, any touch-up painting, all of these things cost some money and with some labor, but one of the things is that you are really going to reap the benefits. Now, this is something I am known for, which is called my calendar here. I'm a very visually oriented person, and this is where I set a due date of when the house is going to be on the market by when all of these subcontractors come in to do the work. So everybody gets a copy of this, the owners, the photographer, and by the way, you should always have a professional photographer do your pictures. The visuals to a home is so important, and that's what's really going to help you sell your house, besides this prep work we're talking about in preparing your home for sale. So we have just a couple more minutes, and I'm just going to give you a reaction that I get from buyers. When buyers walk into a house and they have an A-plus kitchen, and that family has spent $50,000 on their kitchen, and it's beautiful. But downstairs they have wooden paneling and old carpet. What the consumer does is they'll talk about the house later, and they'll say, "Oh, it has such a nice kitchen, but you know that downstairs." Because the house isn't an even, equal kind of showing house. It's got the A-plus kitchen and maybe the C downstairs, C quality downstairs. So it would be worth your while to put in some new carpet in the downstairs, paint the paneling, and neutralize that downstairs. It's not going to be A-plus like the kitchen, but it's going to take objections away from selling the home and kind of even out the home in that way. So this house here is a pretty even house as our example in the way that there is baseboard, by the way, coming in on these floors right here. And we've got the white walls, we've got the gray paint all the way through the house. We have white closet doors, white cabinets. And so there is kind of a continuity here for the home in that way. Yes, and then when we do present the house, we also open escrow early. And then what happens is the ECC shows up, and the ECC is going to call anything that needs to be taken care of. And one of those is the propane screen. The propane screen needs to be built now out of concrete siding with concrete supports and metal framing. So nothing in that propane screen is combustible. And they're also going to say take away the vegetation that's near your propane screen. That costs about $600, $605 for one of our handy fellas at the lake to do. And that's something you can get done ahead of time. You can invite the ECC to your house before you ever list your home and see if there's any outstanding issues, because they may stop the sale of your home with the buyer until they are dealt with. ECC also looks at dead trees, weed whacking that's needed, trash maybe on the side of the house, all those things. So the Environmental Control Committee, which is our ECC, is one of the hurdles to jump over and solve. And that could all be done before you put your home on the market and you get yourself a buyer in contract. Now, Lake of the Pines today has 11 homes for sale. The lowest one is $300,000, which is a duplex on Lone Pine, and the highest priced one is a lakefront, which is $1,365,000. Look at the difference in the range of prices. And then you'll also see 25 more homes with real estate signs in front. And those 25 more homes are all under contract, or as we say, pending. So you'll see a total of 11 plus 25 homes with real estate signs, but only 11 of them are up for grabs. So if you have any questions or comments, please call CJ. My number is 530-906-4715. And I hope you have learned some things today of how to prepare your home for the market, or today's market for today's consumer, which is very different than even 5 years ago. So thank you so much for joining us at Lake of the Pines Living. Bye-bye.